Trey's giving me the thumbs up. Well, good morning. It's good to see everybody. Glad you're here in Amarillo, Texas. Wait. No, where am I? Fayetteville, Arkansas. No, I'm not there either. I was there last Sunday. I'm in Hutchinson, Kansas today. Yes, good to see you. Good to see you. Congratulations on a Kansas team finally winning a football game yesterday. Kansas played Kansas State. You know, you can't go wrong. So you got to win. Good. I'm a native Kansan, as you know. So I'm take a win with Kansas any way we can get it. My wife Becky is with me today. We are thankful to be here. I really appreciate the work of the Eastwood congregation for a number of years. You have helped support Key to the Kingdom. We've grown together in this partnership in God's mission, especially in India. Now, try to get here September, October of every year and to give a report concerning the work, show some pictures, tell some stories, some of which are true, and that's what we're going to do this morning. I do want to acknowledge our partnership for a dozen years or so now, and that means a great deal to me, means a great deal to Key to the Kingdom. We go a long way back. And I'm just grateful for what we are able to do together and how God has brought us together. I'm thankful for this congregation taking part in Mission Sundays once a quarter. I know some more will be said about that today. But all of that is good. And I appreciate this mission-minded church. And I'm just thankful to be a part of, to receive some of those financial gifts, and no doubt the prayers and the encouragement that we receive from you on a regular basis. My wife, Becky, as I said, is with me. You can see her. If you haven't met her, she's sitting there with the Benjis. Give her just a moment to get around. She's walking with a cane. Second day of July, she decided to fall down in the bathhouse of the swimming pool and break her pelvis. So surgery the next day, 1 week in the hospital, 3 weeks in rehab, 12 weeks of no weight on her right leg. So she is now getting along pretty well. She was released from the doctor about 3 or 4 weeks ago. On a Thursday, I didn't see her till Saturday night. She was gone. Got in the car, drove, went and got her hair done, nails done, shopping at Walmart, whatever it might have been. But she's still traveling with me, and she's getting along well, but you might give her a hug when you see her. I want to get into the work that we're doing in India. This past January, you know this, Galen Rollins, everybody know Galen Rollins? Elder at the Eastwood Church. He and I met in Dallas, and we went to India. It was his second trip. It was my 19th trip to India. And the Lord blessed us with good travel, with good things that happened there. I don't know what all he shared with you, but I'm going to share some things in regards to our trip, and you can see a little bit about him in these slides. Just to give you some background, our early beginnings, we began back in 1993. It was Key to the Kingdom was started in Sacramento, California. 74% of the nations of the world were able to hear the gospel through television. That's the way this whole ministry started. It was under the oversight of the church in Clovis, New Mexico, and it remained that until we shifted over here about 10, 12 years back. I came on the work in 2001, basically trying to develop more TV stations across the country. I did a lot of development, fundraising, travel, that kind of thing. Did I go to two of them? There we go. We were on television through INSP, that's Inspiration International. At the highlight of, or the peak of the ministry, we were on television to 90% of the world. They had access to the key to the kingdom messages. Currently, we have done some scaling back of all those stations. We're on probably 8 or 10 public access stations throughout the country. We generate programs there in Amarillo, Texas through our producer. We're on the NBC affiliate called KAMR. And it reaches probably 110, 120 mile radius of Amarillo. You can get it in places like Liberal, Kansas even. We're on 2 times a week. So that's kind of the scaling back of the television work. With that, we began to increase the work in India over that period of time. Currently, we are broadcasting out of Hyderabad, India, which is a city of a little more than 11 million people, to a potential audience of 100 million Telugu-speaking Indians. That is the 3rd most spoken language in India, behind Hindi, number 1, English, number 2, and then Telugu. We're receiving 800 plus responses a month. I got word from Jonathan, the man we work with, just on this trip in the last few days. We are averaging more than 1,500 monthly responses now. That would constitute a phone call asking for prayers, Bibles, Bible studies, or some kind of spiritual encouragement or blessing. On average, for the past 20 years, we've baptized roughly 1,000 people into Christ. And that has led to a number of other ministries that we are able to enjoy and to participate in. The red dot, I don't know if you can see it, it disappears. There's India right in the middle. You see a dot just below the D. That's Hyderabad. That is the capital of a state called Telangana. It used to be all one state. They're Andhra Pradesh, and it split off. Vijayawada became the capital of Andhra Pradesh, and now Hyderabad, as I said, just over 11 million people. It is the pink state right in the middle. There's some 26 states in India. Basically, every state has their own language. Think about that. There are a number of tribal languages and dialects that float throughout all of India. I don't know how many different languages there are, but there are many. We went to India with 4 main things that we wanted to do. This started back 20 years ago. To equip, empower, encourage, and entrust. And you can think about what each one of those words mean. And that's what we tried to do. We tried to equip them with the necessary tools through which they can evangelize and work with their own people. Every year I try to meet with Paul Pula. He is the managing director of Aradhana Television. And that is the TV station on which we have been broadcasting for a number of years. He's the one in charge of getting us on the air. He's a very powerful man in South India. And he tells me every year basically the same thing. Do not run down Hinduism and do not speak against Islam. But you can preach Jesus, you can preach out of the Bible all the time. And there are a number of religious Christian broadcasting messages like ours that are on television in India. And so it's important for me to have a good relationship with him because that is the source, that is the primary thing that we're trying to do, tell people about Jesus through television. We are now in the process of shifting the broadcasting over to Jonathan and his friend, B. Prashant. Those are 2 main people that I work with in India. It will be less of me and more of them on the television. They're putting together lessons. It will be them speaking to their own people in Telugu. We've done this for a number of years. We've got a base of people who watch Key to the Kingdom. It is a well-known ministry. And so I am backing down from some of that and allowing them to do the preaching, which only makes sense. We've established the credibility. Now let the Indian preachers preach to their own people. That's our office on the fifth floor of a housing apartment complex. Doesn't look like much, but it's what they wanted, and it works out well. And Jonathan, you can see in the middle, he has the plaid green shirt on. I hired him when he was 19 years old, 22 years back. I believe that's when it was. He has a wife, he has 3 children, and I've entrusted a great deal of the work to him. Very reliable, very dependable. We text back and forth, we talk on the phone. We think alike. I said, this is what I think we can do, and he said, yes, we can, no, we can't, and we work together on evangelizing the people in India. These are some of the Bible study materials I've written. It's been translated into the Telugu language. We give out that number of Bibles. We give out 1,000 Bibles a month to people in India. These are some of the Bible studies that we use as well. We have around 1,000 preachers who are associated with Key to the Kingdom. I don't know, but probably 50, 75 of them. But they work in villages. They work among their own tribes. They work among their own people. And they do the follow-up that's generated through the television program. And that's how it all begins. We're trying to grow churches. We have trained and placed some 350 elders in established churches through the years. A number of years ago, I put together 8 hours worth of video teaching on being an elder. And they've used that in order to help grow the church. We have, I'm going to miss it. We've got the numbers here in a minute. I think it's 200 different churches that are now in existence as a result of the Key to the Kingdom ministry. This is what it looks like. I do quite a bit of teaching when I am there. Equip, empower. I'm empowering them to do the work. I go and encourage all of the preachers. I don't try to preach out in all of the villages like I used to do 15 years ago. I'm getting a little bit long in the tooth to make those long trips and get back at midnight to the motel, and it's kind of tough. So I encourage the people. Jonathan is my translator, and we get out and we try to have big gatherings of preachers like this and encourage and empower them to do the work. This one is at our place in Suryapet. This is the big hall, the care center. On this right side are the homes, the apartments, if you will, where the people live in this old age home. When Bill Arnold and Galen were with me, Bill was telling me it was 16 that he was able to go. This was just being built. We saw the footings and the concrete being poured, and now here we are 9 years later. This is basically the team. Jonathan is in the red with the garland around BP. B. Prashant is to his left side. And these are some of the core people. It's somewhat like Jesus and the disciples. He worked with 3, and then he worked with 12. And those 12 went and taught and evangelized other people. I work with Jonathan. Jonathan has his team of 12. They go out and minister to the 900 or so preachers that we have. Here are some highlights that I like to note. The distribution of bikes and machines. You've heard the story about bicycles given to the Indian preachers. It's a primary means of their transportation. Most preachers have at least 2 congregations they work with. They don't have cars. They have a good, sturdy bicycle that we buy over there, and we go and we distribute them along with sewing machines to the women. The sewing machines that Sherry Riley uses would not work over there. There's not dependable electricity. So what's the treadle-style sewing machines? Anybody heard of a treadle-style sewing machine? Okay, lots of head shakes. We know how old you are, yeah. But we've given out 550 bikes and machines throughout the years. The yates, I'll talk about that in a minute. The relationships that we've developed with the people, no doubt, is very precious and important. The donors, people like you, make this happen, and all of it, of course, is blessed by God. This is what took place the last 2 weeks in January. Let's see, what's the date on that? The 28th of January. Gayla and I would be leaving probably the next day, the 29th or the 30th, to return to the States. So the distribution of the bikes and machines takes place at the end of our trip, typically. There's the man with his hat on. You see him here, Galen. He was a very integral part of the distribution. We give out 30 machines and 30 bicycles every year. The machines, $100. The bicycles, they're good bicycles. $75 is all they cost. I'm here in the front just greeting every person. You see Galen, he's coming back behind. He's giving the women a new pair of scissors. Bill, when he was there, he took part in that distribution. It was special, wasn't it? The building of the churches. Right now, they have built, I believe, 13 church buildings. They call them prayer halls. That's their word for them. There are 2 more that are in the process of being built currently. And that's a big deal for the Indians. It is a gathering place for the people in the village to come to enjoy fellowship. It's an outreach opportunity for the preacher there to work with those people in the village. Most of the time, these preachers are meeting in their homes or on their front dirt in front of their house. There's no grass in India. Under a palm tree. They need a church building. This one is in Malappuram. We met for a worship assembly. We went out. Okay, now we're going to have the prayer hall dedication. We came back in, and we had a potluck meal that consisted of, and you tell me what it consisted of. You're right. White rice and chicken. I don't know how many different prayer halls throughout the years I've dedicated, but they make it special. They have a little tape, and you cut the tape, and you walk in, you sing songs. It's powerful, isn't it, Bill? This is, I think I shared this with you last year before, a yate. In Matthew chapter 28, you think about Jesus giving that great commission to the disciples, go into all nations and preach the gospel, teach, baptize, disciple. You remember that? The word all nations in the Telugu language is the word yati, Y-A-T-H-I. The all nations Jesus had in mind was not the 193 nations that we have in the world today. Jesus coined that term a long time before the United Nations was even in existence. The yates, the all nations, are groups of people who have never heard about the Lord. They're individual people groups. Some have suggested there are at least 13,000 different people groups across the world. I tend to back that off somewhere around 9,000 to 10,000 people groups. There are a bunch in Africa. There are a bunch in India. And I was there 3 years back on my own, by myself. It was after COVID. Jonathan said, "Would you like to see a yate?" No, I'm taking a nap right now. I don't want to go. Well, of course I want to see a yate. So they picked me up. We drove about 45 minutes to a place outside the school. I don't remember the name of this village. But it was the Ganesh festival. Ganesh is the #1 primary god of all of India. So they set up these booths, and if you can see kind of in the back into that little booth, there is a Ganesh god that's made of plaster of Paris. And when they're done with those, they just throw them into the river. You can just imagine the yuckiness of that. So there's a lady there dancing in front of that god. This is a very small one. I saw others, probably 50 people gathered and dancing and the music, and it was quite the event. So walking along here in this path, it was dark, didn't know where I was going, some street lights, walked into a cinder block, one-room building. You see 2/3 of the building right there in that one picture. And that's what I saw. I immediately just stopped and took a picture. The preacher grew up in that village. He went back to Suryapet, where he became a Christian, learned how to be a preacher, went back to his home village. He taught and he baptized 20 people, and now he is continuing to do that in other surrounding villages. What's the significance of that? These people had never heard of God before. They were a yate. We're not talking about evangelizing different denominations in town. We're talking about telling people about Jesus for the very first time. And that's mission work. That's going into all nations, as Jesus described it in Matthew chapter 28. Got into the van, we drove out. Jonathan turned to me, he said, "Brother, you are the first white man that has ever been inside of this village." No wonder I was a little bit uneasy and excited and overwhelmed all at the same time. Picture of the school in Suryapet. When Bill Arnold was there, we stayed on the second floor in those first two windows there to the right-hand side. That's where Galen and I spent time. That's the compound. You walk down the path. You're walking from the school back this way. There's another leg of the path. So you can see the school way back there in the back. And then you get right here and you see the clinic, Hope Health Services Clinic. Some of you may know a guy named Regan Marshall. He was with me on a trip when we set up and established the Hope Health Services Clinic. And now, currently, it is still seeing some 700 people a month for basic medicinal care. Right next to that, just to the north side, is the care center where 30 elderly Christians live. These are people, 20 women, 10 men, who basically have been expelled, kicked out of their homes and their villages, number one, because they are old and cannot contribute to the family anymore, and number two, because they're Christians. They have no other place to live. So we've taken in 30 to help them. They have access to the medical clinic. We feed them 3 meals daily, which all consist of what? Right? Every one of them. And this is where we have the distribution here in this back part. So that's the path. It has been freshly painted. It looks nice, very functional. They call it the old age home. That's their term for it. When we opened it up the year after Bill and Galen were there were people who came. They heard we can get in. We're going to work with Jonathan. He's going to put us on the list. This will be our home. We had these 20 women, 10 men who came. And here are 4 women who are still living in that facility. And you notice they brought all of their belongings with them. You see all their belongings in this picture. I'll let that soak in. Here they are. I said, everybody wave to the people in America. This is Yesu, Jonathan's father. He was trained, he was a Hindu. When he was about 19 years old, he was trained by a man named Pope. Can't remember Pope's first name. Jonathan found a school in Mumbai. No, it was in Bombay. Now it's called Chennai, on the southeastern coast of India, down by Sri Lanka. He became a Christian. He went back, he taught his wife, Sarita, and his family. And he spent the next 30 years going all over South India, preaching and teaching. A number of years ago, we're traveling along, and I said, Yesu, how many people have you baptized into Christ? And he didn't tell me. He's embarrassed. Finally, he turned to me. He said, brother, the best I can tell, perhaps 10,000. Never had a reason to question that. And I'm thinking about the Apostle Paul when I hear something like that. He was a man who spoke 7 languages. All he did was just read and study the Bible. And the running joke was, there's not a passage in the Scripture that he cannot quote. What does James 4:13 say? Boom, he'll tell you, just like that. Becky was with me 2 years back. He was in the hospital. He passed away 3 weeks after we came home. He's the one who helped me fall in love with India. And it's been a really good thing. So he's passed it on to his son, Jonathan, his oldest son, and he is working as the head of their work now. What does the future hold? Continue to give more responsibility and ownership to them. I will have another trip or 2 left in me, probably, going back to India to check on things. The visa is getting close to running out. As I'm entrusting more work to them, I don't want to show up every year. I want them to do the work, and I back out and allow them to take on more responsibility. Passing it on to future generations who's going to continue to work with the people. And we have 2 main things that we're putting in place and have put in place, sandalwood trees and water wells. And these 2 things will help secure the financial future of this mission effort. Here's the future generation. Jonathan here in the foreground. His wife, Deepa, is to my immediate right shoulder. My immediate left shoulder, that is Jonathan's mother. The lady on the far left over here in the pink, my daughter was with me a number of years ago when she was born. I named her after my daughter, Shayari. And then the little girl in the glasses there to Jonathan's left side, that would be Shasha Becky. Guess who she is named after? My wife. These are the sandalwood trees. A sandalwood tree is very popular in India. Takes some water, takes some growing. We bought 1,000 of them back in 21. They are growing anywhere from 12 to 15 years. The longer they grow, the more the heartwood, the inner part, the trunk grows and expands, and the girth of it gets bigger. Inside is what we in America would call the essential oils. The essential oils make cologne, perfume, soaps, that kind of thing. We're familiar with essential oils, right? We bought 1,000 trees. We've lost a couple hundred. They're still growing. It's okay. On the market, we already have a buyer. And in 10 years or so, 8-10 years, we're going to sell these trees. They will cut them down, a one-time harvest, and then the money that we get from those trees will go right back into the India ministry 100%. We spent $100,000 on the trees. Market value now would be somewhere around $1.2 million. Think how much or how far $1.2 million will go in India. Probably about 10 times as much as it would go in America. So these are planted on the campus, about a 2-acre campus. They're growing, they're doing well. I check with them, I check with the man who's taking care of them. It's just part of the process, part of the work that I do when I'm there. First of the year, Jonathan said, "Brother, our team wants to drill water wells." The problem in India is that the water is filled up with fluoride. Now, we use some fluoride in our toothpaste, if I'm not mistaken. It is an excessive amount to the point it's no good water. People have gotten used to it, but they need better water. And I've been in a number of villages where you hand pump the water, right? And your water comes out, the kids haul the water back to their home. I said, okay, how much they cost? He said around $2,500 is all it cost to drill a well. I said, okay, I'll go to the Eastwood Church in Hutchinson and raise it. I didn't tell him that. But I said, okay, we'll raise the money. We'll find it. So now they have drilled, I believe, 4. They're drilling 2 more this year. He wanted to drill 15 this year. Well, not going to quite get that done. But that's the ongoing process. They drill at least 100 feet down. Sometimes it's a hand pump that gets the water. Sometimes it's an electric pump. This man is S. Lazarus sitting there looking back at the camera. This is his village. This is the church he is responsible for. The well is not drilled on the preacher's property, but the church's property. It's the same principle that we've used all through the years. We're not going to build a prayer hall on the preacher's property, but it belongs to the church under the oversight of elders. Oh, okay, it is. All right, we'll build a prayer hall. Same principle with the water well. It's an opportunity to have an outreach to these people. And you see it there. I took this picture early one morning, looking to the east on the top of the school where we stay. It's a new day in India. Even though some transition has happened with Yesu, even though I'm making a transition myself and giving more oversight, direction, less direction, and them responsibility to them, good things are still happening in India. Trey, I'm going to ask and answer some questions. I want you to take a look at this one here, if you will. There's a couple more things I'm going to share with you in regards to the work, but right now, questions or comments from anybody? There's a deal on there called water wells. There's some pictures and a video. Okay, I'm back. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, right here.
A couple of years ago, you said they were starting a farm, and you were buying some cows. Did that all fall apart?
Yes. Yes, it did. It all fell apart. I got there. Becky was with me several years ago. We're going to put it right there between the school and the medical clinic. It became too involved. They wanted too much money to do it. I said, Jonathan, we're in the gospel sharing business, not the cattle business. He said, okay. And we pulled the plug on that. And so Jonathan kept on thinking, what do we do next? What do we do next? We had a couple projects. They were one-shot deals that worked. Some did, some didn't. But now we've settled on the sandalwood trees, and that's working well. Sometimes it's trial and error on some things in mission work. Yes, ma'am.
Do we know how many other churches, congregations are in India doing somewhat of the same thing?
I don't know for sure how many are in India. How many churches and congregations was the question. I'm going to guess. I'm going to throw it out here. I'm going to say there's probably 10 times as many churches and Christians in India than there are in America. We are a mission field for them to come and evangelize here. I can account for 200 congregations just through Key to the Kingdom. And I know of many other works that have a number of congregations and preachers too. Good question. Yes, sir.
How much rain do they get?
I wouldn't know for sure how much rain, but more than in Amarillo, Texas, that's for sure. I'm going to say their average rainfall is probably 30, 35 inches. They have a monsoon season that comes, their summer, their hot months are March, April, May. Monsoon comes May, June, July. And then the weather starts getting nicer in August, September. The nicest time to go is in the end of January. Yes?
Maybe a couple of questions. One, do you guys ever do medical missions there at
Yes.
main compound? Number two, what does the preacher training situation look like?
Okay.
Talked about that.
Medical missions. We have a medical van which was purchased. They have it there in Seriapet. We have 2 pharmacists, and on a weekly basis, at least one of them and another preacher will go out to some outlying villages to do a medical camp, is what they call it, and also preaching and teaching in those places where they can't get into Seriapet to actually get that. So there's a good medical mission there. The training is some material that I have given them, is some material that they have had in the past. It's a variety of things that they use in order to train those preachers. Most of it, I can't understand it, different language written out, but I know what I've given, and they use part of that. I feel strong, I feel good about what they're doing. But some of it has come from the Sunset School down in Lubbock. So there's a big influence there, I think. Good. One over here. Yes, ma'am.
Did you replace the trees that you lost?
Say that again.
Sandalwood?
Sandalwood, yeah.
Yeah, you said you lost around 200. Do you kind of keep the ongoing process? Do you replace those trees?
Yes, we lost some. That's part of the agreement we had when we purchased them. That we'd lose some, they come in and they replace them. Yeah.
What about when you cut them down?
We cut them down, it's a one-time harvest. So we could take some of those and replant on that same field after you plow it up and prepare it again, if they choose to do that, which I would encourage them to. Yeah. I think we've got this, Trey, am I right? Here are some pictures about the water wells, give you a little more insight. Drilling it there at the corner on the compound. I don't know if you could get by with doing this kind of work through OSHA standards in America, but it works for India. There's the picture you showed earlier. And there's another picture there, looking back into it. Can you go down to the video clip that says Jonathan Water Wells or something like that? It's a video. These are good questions. Thank you for interacting. Here you go. Yeah. Let's just kick that back and get some volume, audio. If you can start over. He's working on it. This, I think, is after the first or second well was drilled. Hello? Right. The people come for physical water, and we offer that along with the spiritual water that Jesus talked about, the living water. So it's a great opportunity, just like so many other things are. The medical camp, the medical care center. Okay. No volume? Okay. Here's the audio. I'm going to do this. I've seen this a few times. Jonathan, he's speaking in Telugu. Can you see this? Okay, here I am. This is me. Look at me. Okay. Ready? Okay. Hi. Greetings. This is Jonathan in India. I know it's Jonathan in India. This is S. Lazarus. He is the preacher at the church. I want you to know that this is the water well that he will use for this congregation and for the people of this village. And I want you to know how grateful we are for you and for Brother Marshall and for other people who have given the money to drill these water wells. Please tell your congregation and all the people, thank you so very much. How's that? I interpreted what he said. I've seen it a couple times, so I kind of knew. I wish we had the audio, but that was pretty neat to get that video a few months ago. Other questions or thoughts? We've got another 5 minutes or so. It's almost a quarter till. 2 minutes. Bill, come up here. Get up here, buddy.
2 or 3 minutes, I'll get by the microphone.
No, you talk whatever you want to say.
Is this on up here, Trey? Is this on? Okay. Just real quick, just no more than 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I thank Nita Vaughn. She's passed away now, so I can openly say, she wouldn't want me to say this while she was here, but she made it financially possible for me to go to India 9 years ago. It was a very humbling experience, it was a great honor to be blessed by the presence of the Indian people. The way they treat us over there you can't put words to it. It was tiring. At the end of every day, there was no trouble falling asleep that night. I had no bacon for 2 weeks. We ate very healthy. Every day we had fish, we had fruit for breakfast. When I came back to Hutchinson, I had to accommodate myself to McDonald's again. That's when I got sick. Brett and Galen and Jonathan, we had the other guy with us. I can't think of his name. And then
Praveen. Praveen? No.
And CM, these guys were just so great to be around. They were looking out for us, keeping us safe. Jonathan knew I was a little adventurous with food, so he'd be like, hey, try this, brother. And every night before we went to sleep, we would, all three of us, Galen, Brett, and I would have prayer, and we would pray for that day and for the coming day. One funny story that I have to share about my friend Amy Ratley, in 2016, before I was going over there, I wanted to learn how to eat with my hands. So we were having a meal at the truck stop in South Hutchinson, and I was going, this is how they eat in India. And I was eating with my hands, and she goes, looking around, everybody looking at us going, Bill, you're not in India. And my last thing, I said it was a life-changing experience, and I crossed it out because it wasn't only a life-changing experience, but it was a faith-changing experience.
Stay right here. Thank you, Bill, for sharing that. In conclusion, just let me say again, thank you. I don't know what else to say to this church. You have been so generous with your financial gifts. You've been so kind to encourage. You have been so supportive through Galen and all the eldership, Ken Schmucker with the mission committee. Thank you for sending Bill our way, for Nita Vaughn. She had a great heart for India. And I'm just indebted to you. And on behalf of the Indian people, I say thank you. It touches my heart to have this relationship with Eastwood. Let's pray. God in heaven, I thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you for what you're doing in your mission in this world through India and through the Yates and through the Eastwood Church, and for their involvement and for their sacrificial giving, for their faithful prayer, for people like Bill who went and he saw a firsthand experience and it changed his faith. For Galen, the support that he offers, and for his insight, his leadership among the elders there. Thank you for every gift. Thank you for every person. Thank you for the connection that Becky and I are able to have with these good people here. God, continue, please, to bless our partnership in a great way. In Jesus' name, amen. Thanks, buddy. All right. Thanks for being here.